Today I am going to discuss about the life processes. Life processes means there are many features of life which are involved and called life processes, like uh, respiration, reproduction, excretion, and so on. Today I would like to focus on the human excretory system. What is excretion? Excretion means removal of waste product is called excretion. And there are various types of organisms on the basis of release of excretion. Organisms may be classified on the basis of excretion called ammonotelids, ureotelids, and uricotelids. A for ammonotelids, ureotelids, and uricotelids. So there are three main categories of the organisms. Ammonotelic organisms are such organisms in which ammonia is released as the waste product. Ureotelic ammonia is highly toxic substances. They are produced inside the cell and they are highly soluble in water. So excess water is required for the elimination of ammonia. So examples of ammonotelic organisms are mostly protozoans or aquatic animals. Ureotelic organisms which excrete urea. Urea, the formula of urea is CONH2 whole 2. Ureotelic organisms are such organisms which excrete urea, and human is the best example of the ureotelic organisms. And third one, uricotelic. Uricotelic means organisms which excrete uric acid. Example is birds. So there are three categories of organisms on the basis of excretory products: ammonotelic organisms, ureotelic organisms, and uricotelic organisms. Many organisms, excretory organs are different, like flame cell, nephridia. In earthworm, nephridia is the excretory organ. In earthworm is very common. Scientific name of earthworm is Erythema posthuma. So nephridia, there are three types of nephridia in the earthworm: integumentary nephridia, septal nephridia, pharyngeal nephridia, and they are located at different position inside the earthworm. Like pharyngeal nephridia. Pharyngeal nephridia are found in fourth, fifth, and sixth segment. Integumentary nephridia are found in 15th to last segment. Septal nephridia are found in different septa, third to last segment. Likewise, in cockroach, excretory organ is Malpighian tubule. Malpighian tubules are found at the junction point of the midgut and hindgut. But human, the most advanced mammal, so excretory organ is the kidney. Kidney is very important. Number one, kidney. Kidney is reddish brown-like structure. They are bean shaped. The outer shape is convex, inner shape is concave, and they are surrounded by a capsule called renal capsule. The length of the kidney, each kidney is 10 centimeter, width 5 centimeter, and thickness is about 2 centimeter. It is variable, not constant, sometimes 10 to 12, 5 to 7, so on. The average weight of each kidney is about 120 to 170 gram. There are two kidney on either side, the right kidney and left kidney. Right kidney and left kidney. Left kidney is a little above, higher than that of right kidney. And right kidney is situated below or down to left kidney. So there are two kidneys, and each kidney produces ureter. Ureter is the connecting link, which is a tube-like structure. They are connected with the urinary bladder, and it carry urine. So urine is produced and or stored in the urinary bladder, and each kidney is supplied with renal artery and renal vein. Renal artery and renal vein are very important, and the structural and functional unit of kidney is nephron. What is nephron? Is structural and functional unit of kidney. They are filled with millions of nephrons. Now, I would like to focus on LS, or anatomy of kidney, or LS of human kidney. So LS means, you know, a longitudinal section of human kidney. So it consists of two parts. First part is called cortex. Not only cortex, because cortex are found in other parts also. So it would be better to say renal cortex and renal medulla. And renal cortex is the peripheral or outer layer, and renal medulla is the central part or inner layer. And they are traversed by, innervated by renal artery and renal vein. The inner surface is concave, and this area is called pelvis, and there are many medullary rays or renal medulla, and inside the concave area a tube-like structure arises called ureter. Ureter is a tubular structure which carry urine from kidney to urinary bladder. Urinary bladder opens to the outside by a tube-like structure called urethra. So urethra opens to the outside by an aperture called urinogenital aperture, because in male urethra is the common passage for both urine as well as semen. So that is why the aperture is called urinogenital aperture. But in female, urethra and genital apertures are separate. So urethral aperture and genital apertures are not common. But in male, urethral and genital apertures are common. So that is why the opening of urethra is called urinogenital opening. Now I would like to focus on the nephron. Nephron is very important part. Nephron is the structural and the functional unit of kidney. Nephron consists of a cup-like structure called Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule is a cup-like structure, and this area is called proximal convoluted tubule, and this is called descending limb, and this is called ascending limb, distal convoluted tubule, and it opens to the collecting duct and duct of Bellini, and finally to the outside by urethra. In Bowman's capsule is a cup-like structure which opens in a tube-like structure, and this is called afferent renal arteriole, and the diameter of afferent renal arteriole is about 25 micron, and the efferent renal arteriole, the diameter of efferent renal arteriole is about 25 micron. So efferent renal arteriole finally opens into renal vein. So this is called proximal convoluted tubule, and this is near to Bowman's capsule, and inside the Bowman's capsule blood capillaries are found. Inside the Bowman's capsule, blood capillaries are found called glomerulus. Glomerulus. And Bowman's capsule contains glomerulus which help in filtration. So this is called efferent renal arteriole, distal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle. Loop of Henle is a U or U-like structure, and the lower limb is called descending limb. Descending limb, and upward limb is called ascending limb. Ascending limb is comparatively thick, and descending limb is permeable to water, not permeable to electrolyte and blood filters. Here, blood comes through the afferent renal arteriole and goes to the outside by renal vein through efferent renal arteriole. What are the important functions of the kidney? Important functions of the kidney: kidney acts as a regulator to maintain the homeostasis. The main important functions of the kidney are ultrafiltration, reabsorption, secretion, or tubular secretion. And ultrafiltration, about 75 mm per Hg pressure is created inside the glomerulus capsule, and due to this pressure blood is filtered and they contain various electrolytes, plasma, water, etc. About 95% water is absorbed at this area in proximal convoluted tubule, and in descending limb, which is also permeable to water but not to electrolytes. So water is also absorbed here and some electrolytes are absorbed, and through the secretion they reach to the collecting duct, and some tubular secretion also takes place. To maintain the functions of the kidney, various hormones are required. What are the various hormones? Hormonal levels. So called ADH. ADH is very important anti-diuretic hormone, and also called vasopressin, which is released from the posterior part of the pituitary gland, and in short it is called RAS, and full form of RAS is renin angiotensin aldosterone system. Aldosterone system. Antidiuretic hormone is released from pituitary gland, which is also responsible to control the or regulation of the kidney, and here counter current system develops in the loop of Henle. Counter current system. So that is the main or chief function of the counter current system is to release concentrated urine. Concentrated urine. Counter current system. So various types of hormones are responsible to maintain the functions of the kidney. So counter current system help in regulating or eliminating excess water. So it is also very important, and renin, angiotensin is released from the liver and finally reach to the medulla of adrenal gland. Adrenal gland. So adrenal gland is located at the top part of each kidney, and adrenal gland is divided into two parts, cortex and medulla, and medulla of adrenal gland produces aldosterone. Sorry, not cortex part of adrenal gland, and medulla part produces adrenaline, noradrenaline. So here they are not involved. So aldosterone is released from the cortex part, not from the medulla part. Okay. So cortex of adrenal gland produces different hormones like glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, and sex corticoids. So mineralocorticoids are also called aldosterone. So they also help in regulating the kidney. Besides the kidney, in human, the excretory organs are lungs, skin. Skin is also very important because it produces sweat. And lungs, they are chiefly responsible for releasing CO2 and also produces water vapor. But kidney is the chief or important functions or plays key role in the excretion. Besides kidney, lungs and skin also help in removal of waste products. So human excretory system is very well developed, and in plants excretion is not like human excretory system. In plants waste products are released, but in plants waste products are released, but they are of two categories: nitrogenous waste products, and non-nitrogenous waste products. Non-nitrogenous waste products. Waste product means they are not utilized by plants. So they are in plants, not well-developed excretory systems are found, but they are released as self-defense. For the self-defense. What are the nitrogenous waste products? Nitrogenous waste products are mainly alkaloids. Different types of alkaloids. Alkaloids are nitrogenous waste products. Different types of alkaloids are produced by different types of plants. I would like to give few examples like nicotine. Nicotine is produced by tobacco. Atropine is released by belladonna plant, Atropa belladonna. Caffeine is released by coffee, and so on. It is. So they are called nitrogenous waste products. Non-nitrogenous waste products consist of resins, gums, tannins, some mineral crystals. Mineral crystals are also non-nitrogenous products like raphides. Raphides are called calcium oxalate. Calcium oxalate are called raphides. Cystolith, they are made up of calcium carbonate. So raphides, cystolith, resins, gums, tannins, etc. are non-nitrogenous waste products. And nitrogenous waste products are alkaloids. There are various types of alkaloids. Few examples are like nicotine, atropine, caffeine. So they are not utilized by plant for the growth and development, but they are used as for the purpose of defense. Okay.